It's the golden era right now. I'm considered a bloody AI expert now. I've been playing with OpenClaw for 2 weeks.
I cloned a $4,500 app on day one.
She made like $1,500 with Claude Cowork doing 95% of that work. Personal brand is the #1 way to differentiate yourself, because as like cheesy as it sounds, you are unique.
I don't think our team is probably ever going to get bigger than where it is now.
The cost of inaction right now is like insanely high. Email lists are like the Bitcoin of like communicating with people, because you own that direct channel to them.
You have to stack skills. G'day legends. For those that find massive value in this video, Daniel and I are going to run a free webinar, some free training on AI, personal branding and Bitcoin on the 19th of March. I've put a link below, limited spots, so register today. We'll see you there. Now back to the show. G'day legends, welcome back to G'day Bitcoin. Joining us today is Daniel Sempere Pico. We are going to dive into the intersection of AI, Bitcoin and personal branding. This is going to be a masterclass, an episode you won't want to miss. Daniel, welcome back to the show. How are you?
G'day, Sean. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. We were just talking backstage before we hit record, everything OpenClaw. I've got my own thoughts about it. I've got Lindy sitting here like right in front of me, flashing, blinking at me, and it brings so much joy. But you've also been playing around with OpenClaw and AI for a long time. What are your thoughts with it, and are you using it? Have you implemented it? And what's been, I guess, that initial result, if you have?
Well, so OpenClaw, actually, I was going to say OpenClaw is my first taste of agentic AI, but it's not, because I started using Claude Cowork was my first taste of agentic AI a couple of weeks ago, whenever that dropped. Have you played around with Claude Cowork?
No, I just went straight to OpenClaw.
It's very similar. It's like, Claude Chat, but it can do stuff for you. So it can go into your computer and like edit files and move files around and do stuff. So, and it can like you can send it off to use your browser. So with the Claude Chrome extension, Claude Cowork can manage your browsing, and it can go and do stuff for you. Like I'll give you an example. And I tweeted this the other day. I have a client who does a lot of, I can't say exactly, so there's a thing right now where if you know how to use agentic AI tools and AI tools, and you're a freelancer or an entrepreneur or whatever, there's an arbitrage to be made between people, like servicing people who don't know how to use these tools, right? But as soon as they find out how to use them, they're just going to not need you anymore and use them. So I don't want to out my client, but let's just say I have a client that does a lot of database entry work that can be done by AI. It needs to be checked by a human, but can be done by AI. So I showed this person Claude Cowork, and she got Claude Cowork. She got the Claude Chrome extension, and she told it, she showed it an example of her work, and she told it, can you do this set of work as a test? And it did it. And it did it perfectly. And it reduced like what would have she then started using it regularly. And what would have taken her 40 hours of work of doing everything herself, she was now doing with Claude Cowork in about 6 hours. And out of those 6 hours, most of it was Claude Cowork doing everything, and she was just checking it at the end.
Wow.
The other morning, I tweeted this, so she made like $1,500 with Claude Cowork doing 95% of that work. She was taking her elderly mother to the dentist whilst Claude Cowork was doing her work for her. This is billable client work. Right. So I'm not like, this is not for everyone. And at some point she will get replaced by AI once the business figures out that they can just do it themselves. But in the meantime, there's this arbitrage opportunity. And I the arbitrage opportunity between like, saving people time or saving people money, or, you're bringing a skill or knowledge that the person buying it from you doesn't have. That's all business is. It's just arbitraging these types of things. Right. And then arbitrage is open and close as technology changes. But yeah, that's one use case of the agentic AI. So that blew her mind. Claude Cowork started blowing my mind. And then when OpenClaw came out, I was like, I need to go straight. Well, to be fair, OpenClaw came out in November last year. But once it started blowing up on Twitter like a couple of weeks ago, I just straight away went and bought a Mac Mini, installed it, and just started running with it. And I was like, I was going to hire an executive, like a personal assistant, like not an in-person one, a remote assistant.
Yeah, virtual assistant.
I don't need one anymore. Like
Yeah.
with this is enough. My wife was helping me out with some admin stuff, and now every time I turn to her, I'm like, can you help me do this? And she's like, I only have time on Thursday at 1 p.m. I'm like, it's okay, I'll just get I call my OpenClaw Rupert. Well, one of my agents, the chief of staff, because I treat them like a company and they all have roles. The chief of staff is Rupert. So I was just like, I need to sign a new tenancy agreement for my villa where I live. And I asked if she could find the template and just fill in the details. And she was like, oh, I don't know if I can do it today, whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll just get Rupert to do it.
It's so incredible.
It's insane.
It's so insane. One of the things that you were saying with this client of yours is the AI did like most of the work, but it still had to be checked by a human. Like going back a couple of years and stuff when GPT first came out, the outputs were absolutely garbage, and like you couldn't use them really for anything without heavily editing, and the models have gotten better and better and better. And I still check every single thing that I use, but it is getting to a point where it's closer to perfect. Do you think we are going to get to a point though where human intervention and the checking is not going to be needed to be done at all, and say your client would just be able to say, Rupert, go and do this, I've showed you once how to do it, and then it's just good to go? Or there's always going to have to be that sort of human overseer with these?
I think it just depends. It depends on the context.
What you're putting out.
For example, for example, for this client, if she didn't check the work, then her relationship with this client is at risk and she could lose the job altogether. So for her, it's worth checking it. Maybe once she's worked, maybe she's worked with it. The 6 hours is not how much work she spent. It's total Claude co-work plus her. So what would have taken her 40 hours by herself is like 5 hours and 45 minutes of Claude co-work doing the work, and then 15 minutes of her checking it. Let's call it that split, right? So for her, it's so little time that it's worth her just checking it, just in case, right? And, she's the point of contact to the client when something, the client has a question or whatever, she has to still know what's going on. Otherwise, if the client asks her questions about it, she needs to know what's going down. People are already, pushing outputs from LLMs live to production and software. Like the founder, the guy who invented OpenClaw, he says he doesn't check all the code. He uses ChatGPT Codex. I'm pretty sure he said that he pushes a bunch of live code that he doesn't check. And I think that is the biggest bottleneck now. Like I've got 5 parallel agents. So I've got 5 agents, a chief marketing officer, a ghostwriter, a chief of staff, a health, fitness, and nutrition coach, and a CTO. And the bottleneck is me checking everything they do. Like I tell them to do something, 5 seconds later, they've done it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm busy like prompting the other guy. I don't have time. The amount of stuff they've built me that I haven't gone, I got them to build me a control center. I got them to build me a health and fitness dashboard. I've had like 4 ideas for different apps that I want to, these are things for me that make my life better, right? They're not like to release. And well, maybe if I start talking about it and it's useful and people are like, I want that, then I would push it live and put it behind a paywall or whatever, or offer it for free or give it to my clients. But I am the bottleneck now. And so I am thinking of like, how are there ways that I can just let these guys rip without me needing to control everything, check everything, right? And I think the key is, so you were mentioning the old versions, the older models and the older LLMs. So I actually started using 2 tools, one called Jasper AI and one called Copy AI, before ChatGPT came out. So these were on GPT 2.5 or GPT 3 or whatever before ChatGPT came out. And they were copywriting tools, like to write emails and write blog posts and write titles and whatever. And they were pretty awful, but they were good for like, give me 20 titles. You could say like, give me 20 titles, and you'd sort of like pick a bit of each title and mix and match and make your own. And it was really good for like, you could come up with ideas more quickly than you might by yourself. Let's say, right? But the writing was rubbish. Like I would never have it write me a blog post and publish that. And I still don't have the AI. Well, until now, I never had the AI write me stuff. Actually, I still don't, because so I would never say, write me a blog post about how Bitcoin mining is good for the environment or whatever, right? And just, I would either speak my thoughts into a voice note and have it transcribe that and then use that as a basis for an article, or I would write a draft myself and then have it edit it and you know, if it's like, I don't like this sentence, I'll ask it to like brainstorm, give me 5 ways to say this, right?
Yeah.
And it's those things. So it would always be like, basically you give it the raw materials, you let it polish the turd. And that's all that, I mean, for anyone that's written, that is what writing is. The first draft is absolutely terrible. All right. The great writing is done in the editing, but now you just have an AI helping you edit, and you don't, that's also the way that you're, you know, writing with AI doesn't sound like AI. It doesn't keep, because I don't say, it's not just about this, it's about that. I don't always list things in 3 like AI does, right? So AI doesn't do that when I give it my raw materials. But what I have now is the beautiful thing about, like, I've been a very messy note taker for like since 2013, basically. I have got like an Evernote with like God knows how many notes, and
sounds like my
then
Apple
I've switched
Notes, man.
I've switched to like all the different things. Now I've like consolidated all those together into a second brain that my AI agents have access to. And so you know, the fact that you've, for example, you've produced content, you can feed that to your AI and then it will be able to replicate you much better than, like, you know, you can get to a stage where you can be like, write me a blog post with my thoughts about personal branding. Like the top 5 reasons I think someone should build a personal brand. It can write it in my voice and say what I think because it knows, because I've written notes about it, or I've got content drafts, or I've given it another piece of content where I mentioned that, right? So I'm getting to a point now where I've got my ex-ghostwriter. Like last night I told him, like, every morning I want 5 tweet drafts in my inbox based on, you know, I've got a document with 800 ideas and drafts. And so either like just a single line for an idea for a post or a draft that I haven't polished. So it can just go in there, pull a draft, tidy it up in my voice because it knows what I sound like, because it's got all this content. And I've got 62,000 tweets, right?
Nice.
All written by me. This is like majority of those before AI, and anything that was written with AI was written using my source materials. So it's not like just, you know, from it's not using nothing of mine. So even the stuff that, you know, is written with AI is still mimicking me and what I would say. And so, yeah, I have this library, like the AI can write better me content faster than me. Yeah. But it's still me because it's trained on me. It's just better at executing than I am, right? We are already in a place where the AI is better than I am. Like we've gone from let's say ChatGPT 4.0, right? That wasn't that long ago. It was like a year ago that 4.0 came out, maybe even less. That was still not good enough, in my opinion. But we are now with like Opus 4.6 and Codex GPT 5.3 and Gemini 3 Pro, with the right examples of your own work, it can outperform you.
If you've still got your Bitcoin on an exchange, or you're looking to take your Bitcoin security to the next level, I've partnered with the Bitcoin Way. They offer live help for setting up cold storage, running your own node, keeping your Bitcoin private, planning for the future, using multi-sig, and so much more. They never touch your keys. They will not touch your coins. Instead, they'll show you how to buy and keep them safe. If you want to make your Bitcoin setup safer, you can book a free 30-minute call and have a chat with them. Safe Dina Moose, the author of the Bitcoin Standard, Natalie Brunel, Preston Pish, and so many more recommend the professional IT cybersecurity team. Couple of outstanding things here. You can see they've been featured in Forbes, Bitcoin Magazine, Bitcoin Prague, Zero Hedge, Simply Bitcoin, the Bitcoin Safe Dean, the Bitcoin Standard podcast with Safe Dina Moose, Bitcoin News, obviously G'day Bitcoin for a long time. They're the world experts in helping people become self-sovereign. It's not just about protecting your Bitcoin stash. Yes, they will help you do that in a very easy to understand step-by-step process. But from there, they can help you secure your data. They are your personal cybersecurity IT experts. And then step number 3 is getting a second passport, a Plan B residency. The team, very cheap, very affordable for people that are looking to take their sovereignty to the next level. You can find out more about their services. When you first log in to their website as well, they have got a free 3-minute quiz to allow you to check if you are doing your cybersecurity, your setup correctly. I urge everyone to jump onto the bitcoinway.com. I have put a link into the description for everyone. Could not recommend them enough. I've used them personally before I ever partnered with them for the channel, friends and family. They asked me to help them out. I'm like, go to the world experts. That is the Bitcoin way. So reach out to the Bitcoin way today.
It's already better than you. If you like, for everyone listening to this, if you do not clone yourself with AI and you don't use AI to like do your work, or somebody else is going to replace you doing it. Right?
100%.
Like, the people who create the people who've been creating content online for like the last decade who have not cloned themselves with AI are cooked, because like they're going to be cloned by someone else because they're famous. They're like, I wonder what, so-and-so would think about this. I don't need to ask them anymore. I can just go upload 10 of their YouTube videos to an AI and then ask the AI questions about stuff like that. Like, this is what I did for my health. I can't get Peter, by the way, I'm going to say Peter Attia. I know he's like he's mired in controversy now because he was emailing Jeffrey Epstein and whatever. But like, Peter Attia is a guy that I've learned a bunch about health and fitness stuff from, right? Guess what I did? I just asked my AI to be Peter Attia and give me advice. Because Peter Attia has created like literally an encyclopedia of content on health and fitness. So I don't need to hire Peter Attia for 200 grand to be my concierge doctor. A $20 ChatGPT subscription has become my Peter Attia, has become like my concierge doctor. And he's better than any doctor that I go see in person.
I've done the same thing with Alex Hormozi's content.
Yeah.
For business.
Well, Hormozi, Hormozi has his AI, the ACQ AI, which is really good, by the way. But yes, you can just upload your, if you don't want to pay for that or don't want to use it, you can just, with enough of his content, create an AI version of Alex Hormozi, right?
Yeah.
And so we already
did all of it for me as well. I pointed it to Alex's playlist and I said, download all the transcripts and make a second brain to be able to be my business systems coach in regards to best practices from Hormozi. That was it. And then like downloads all the transcripts and stuff, puts them into a master document. It's got the individual ones and everything like that. Fully searchable. It's freaking incredible.
So we're at that place where the AI, I think, is already better. Like, I'm not going to say it's better than the average person. It's way better than the average. The average person is, average. It's better than me at being me already. Yeah. I'm just so glad that I'm the one that's wielding that technology for my benefit and not someone else.
That's, I think, really important. I think it's going to become more and more important that, like you're saying, people are cloning themselves and sort of getting ahead of the curve. Like, I've been posting about this the last 4 days while I've been setting it up and playing around with Lindy, short for Charles Lindenberg, the great aviator. But people like, oh, I've got a little bit of FOMO and I'm like in a no spend month or something like that. I'm like, well, if you've made a promise to yourself, you're not going to spend any money for this month. Keep that promise. Like, there is nothing worse than selling your soul short. Maybe you can have a hard conversation and break your promise, but you're breaking a promise. But for everyone else that's like a little bit on the fence or something, I've had other people say, oh, they're going to wait for the new Mac Mini to come out. I'm like, okay, like why? How long before it comes out? How much is it going to cost? And like, regardless of the costs and stuff, I find this Mac Mini definitely powerful enough for what it is and for what I need right now. But say it's like another 2 months before the new Mac Mini comes out. I have no idea when their release schedule is. That's 2 months of time that you're not learning, you're not getting better, you're not prompting. Like, you're wasting 2 months of your life or whatever, where you could be so far ahead. And yes, the tools are going to be simpler, easier. They're a little bit more plug and play in 2 months' time. But if you're already learning for like the 2 months previous to then, imagine what you can do with those tools compared to somebody that's just starting and just going out.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say to someone who's like waiting, or they are saying like money's an excuse, or they want to save $500 by buying the new Mac Mini versus the old Mac Mini or whatever, like, believe in yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
back yourself.
If you don't value, like, if 2 months of learning this stuff isn't worth $500 to you, like, you need to seriously reassess what you're doing with your life. Right.
Yeah.
Because it's the golden era right now. I'm considered a bloody AI expert now. I've been playing with OpenClaw for 2 weeks and writing about it. Right?
Well, one thing I'd like to say in that point, though, because I've been thinking about this as well. is, yes, OpenClaw for 2 weeks, but it's the years and years previous of AI exposure and talking to it. And that's sort of what I'm getting at with the 2 months. Like, you've got years and years, I've got years and years, and then we can play with these tools and make them pretty freaking effective, like in such a short order. But if people are like, no, AI is not for me, and then they just, in 2 months I'm going to start or whatever, they've got such a gap to be able to get to where somebody is even just 2 months prior, let alone like years before with previous AI. We interrupt this video to bring you a really quick PSA. How safe and secure is your Bitcoin seed phrase? So many people still hold their 12 or 24 words on paper. Then they sort of upgrade to something like this. This is a titanium version. It does hold all 24 words, but look how big it is. This device, this revolutionizes it. It changes it. It makes it so much more secure. What this does, you can see there's a 1-inch washer on there. It comes with these punches that are almost microscopic. They give you a magnifying glass to be able to see the end of them, because you really can't read what that says. And then they give you titanium washers, nylon washers. Think about this for x-rays, body scanners, metal detectors, border passes, just around the house with the metal detector wand, stainless steel as well. These are great for hot wallets. The titanium, it's going to survive a house fire. But this, compared to this, look at the size difference to it. You could fit 8 of these on this one plate, yet it still contains all 24 words. Imagine how easy that is to be able to hide. Now, the team have given a discount code for everyone. There is a link below. Now back to the show.
Yeah, I mean, but I would say my productivity has like 50x'd since I started using agentic AI versus, chatbot AI.
Yeah.
Right. It's just opened up a completely different. It's like you say, like before, if I wanted to make a Hormozy project in ChatGPT, I had to go in there and manually pull all the transcripts, copy and paste them from YouTube and put them in a doc and put them into the project. Like, you know how long that would have taken me? Like,
that just wouldn't get done.
It wouldn't be worth it. Exactly. It wouldn't be worth it. Right. And I've got, I paid $1,000 for like lifetime access to this tool called Poppy AI, which is like a Kanban board style thing, which you can just like copy YouTube links over, and you can link them to a chat. So you can have a bunch of resources, and then you could link them to a chat, and it will use that as the knowledge base for the chat. And if like for this particular one, I don't want this video linked, I just want these 2 pieces linked. Like it's all visual. It's all done visually. Like that, I use that tool for like 4 months, and now GG. Like it's useless. Yeah, don't need it. Google Notebook LM already kind of does that anyway. I just like the visualization of this one. But like the tools to get a lot of stuff done, you don't need OpenClaw. You can use Claude Cowork. You can get a Claude Pro subscription for $20 a month and use Claude Cowork for a lot of the stuff. You can use Claude Code. You need to like a lot. The nice thing about OpenClaw is like the Telegram integration or the messaging integration is like already built in. The bot is like configured. So if you use Claude Code, you would have to do a lot of the configuration. But the beautiful thing with AI is like we are now programming. So this is another tweet that I've got, which is like, before, to program computers, you need to write code, and to program people, you need to write words, right? But now you just need to write words to program computers and people. Like slightly different, like humans, it's persuasion and stuff. You don't need to persuade your AI. But now with natural language, you just literally, when someone comes to me like, Dan, can you teach me how to get the AI to do this? And they explain to me what they want the AI to do. I'm like, yeah, just tell the AI that, and then it'll do it.
That's right.
That's it. That's their magic. If you can speak English, you can tell the AI what to do.
Yeah, that's right. Any language, as long as it's text-to-speech or...
If you can speak natural language.
Isn't it phenomenal, like where we're getting at? And I guess like I want to link this into Bitcoin, but before we even get to the Bitcoin, like AI, I don't necessarily think it is going to come in actually, and it's going to, like, a lot of jobs and stuff are going to be upset. Like, for example, with the online training company that my wife and I run together, we couldn't have set that up without AI and stuff, like just with the simple chatbot and the coding and like putting everything in together over the last 2 years. When I'm like talking to people and we're hiring people or whatever, I didn't need to hire as many people as before the time of AI, because I could just do what 4 other people could do. Like I could just manage the project and get them to be able to do little things, but I wouldn't need as many staff. Now I don't think our team is probably ever going to get bigger than where it is now, and we're at 7 people. It was at 9, so we've sort of cut down a little bit there. But if we were to hire someone else again, if they don't have AI skills, like they're not getting hired anymore because they have to, like in this day and age. But so aside from that, like less people are going to get hired. The only people that are going to get hired are people with AI, like at least in my circumstance. So like what are people to do? As we were saying sort of backstage, like I cloned a $4,500 app on day one, you know, or day 1.5 with this Clawbot, which is amazing. So it paid for itself, and then it paid for my time to spend learning to set it up, etc. I can create that app. The people that originally created like another app that I didn't pay $4,500, they missed out on the sale because I could make it. But say they're selling that, I'm selling that, you're selling the same app. We're all selling it, same price point, because there's sort of no competition. That price point's fairly low, so the profit margin's smaller. Who are they going to buy off? Is it this unknown person? Is it me that they've only come across a couple of times? Or is it Daniel, who they've been following for a couple of years or whatever? They're following when you do your podcasts, like if you do a guest podcast, they're following your ex, they're following your articles and stuff. That's really what I see is going to be like mission critical for people, is to establish themselves as a personal brand in one way or another, because it's not what you know anymore. It's who you know, but more importantly, who knows you. Like, what are your thoughts in regards to personal branding, like in the time of AI? Like I think it's more important now than ever before, and it's been important for a long time. But I think without it, people are really, really going to struggle as we move further into the AI age.
Yeah, I think this principle it's AI, like the advent of AI hasn't created this phenom where like now everyone can do everything and everything's commoditized. Like there's so many businesses and services that are already commoditized. And it's like, how do you pick the guy who comes to do your lawn? Or how do you pick the car wash guy? Or how do you pick the consultant that you hire for X, Y, Z, right? It's through some sort of like branding, positioning, and differentiation. The area that I play in, which is like consulting, it's more of a people thing. Like, so you are more likely to pick, you know, one consultant or over another, or to trust one person over another based on them, whether you know, like, and trust them, basically, versus like, I don't know, yeah, somebody who comes to do your lawn. But guess what? Like, if your lawn guy is on Instagram and he's building a personal brand, and you find out that he supports Manchester United and you support Manchester United, and you are probably going to like more likely to have him do your lawn because he's a fellow Manchester United supporter. So yeah, we do like to do business and pick people who are like us, right? So yeah, the fact that now I still don't think, yes, it is easier to build things with AI than it was before, right? But that's the way technology has always made things. Technology always makes something that was harder before easier now, right? So AI doesn't change that. It's just coming into I guess the coverage of what it makes easy to do is huge. But there's still the difference between high agency people and low agency people, right? OpenClaw, yep, you can like tap a few buttons on a terminal and install it yourself. But guess what? The biggest apps that are blowing up right now are one-click installs of OpenClaw, right? Yeah. So I think you can always do well compressing time. But I think the biggest advantage, because again, compressing time is a commoditized thing. Anyone can just then, if the one-click install of OpenClaw, if there's a lot of demand for that, supply will come into the market and will fill it. And you'll have 100 of these. And then how do you pick those? How do you pick between the 100 of those? And I think that personal brand is the number one way to differentiate yourself, because as like cheesy as it sounds, you are unique. Like there is no one out, there is no other person like Sean. There are people that might be similar to you that like have similar interests, but not exactly like you, right? So that is the easiest way to differentiate. It's just like build a personal brand. And all building a personal brand it's a few things. It's being yourself online, so people get to know you and they get to trust you. And it's showing your work. Like basically just saying your thoughts out loud. If you know about stuff, talk about that stuff. And just by the process of giving yourself that megaphone and talking in public about it, you start to be perceived as an authority, as an influence. I hate that word, but as a, an influencer, as an authority, as an expert in the field.
Yeah.
All you need to do, like I did it with Bitcoin, right? As soon as I started learning about Bitcoin, I was like, I'm, obsessed with this. It's all I do. It's all I think about. And all I did was learn and then share in public what I had learned. Was it new stuff? Was it stuff that was I the first person to discover that Bitcoin is scarce? No, I was like 10 years late to that game, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? Lots of people follow me. I was the source for them to learn about Bitcoin, or they liked me for some reason, or they liked the way I spoke, or my, very, very, very nuanced things that made them like getting Bitcoin information from me rather than from someone else. So yeah, personal branding is going to be huge. Like, as you said, the things that AI commoditizes, like it's just such a wide surface area that, and everything is just going to be like, information is going to be commoditized. But I think we're in information overwhelm. Just like
for sure.
Just like we're the bottleneck to get the AI to like just be able to just make stuff at the pace it can go. Imagine when AIs are just like making infinite amounts of information. How are you going to decide what's worth listening to and what's not? You still need somebody who can curate, who can sift through everything. They have better context than you. They have better knowledge. They have more time than you, right? I don't work a 9 to 5. I'm fortunate that this is my job. So I can literally, as soon as something drops on Twitter about some new thing, I can spend 7 hours learning about it. And I'm 7 hours ahead of the rest of the world, right? And then people that trust me as, to know this stuff or to be at the forefront of it can follow me on Twitter, can join my email list, can pay to work with me, to be told from me, like, don't pay attention to this thing. This is just hype or fake, but definitely pay attention to this thing. Like, this is real. I'm using it. Look at what I've achieved, whatever. So I think the curation is going to be huge in a world where we're going to be flooded with infinite amounts of information. We've taken like AI, the internet was like the sum of the entire world civilization's knowledge, and AI can like parse it in seconds and pull information out from it. And it's insane. It's insane. And it can also now reproduce that information infinitely as well.
Yeah, ad infinitum. It sort of reminds me like what you were saying about like we're going to be curators and stuff back in 24 when I was doing the live daily Bitcoin news show. And there's sort of like 35 minutes to about an hour of news content, depending on how much it was. And I'd spend like, so I'd do it like first thing in the morning, at about 5:30 in the morning, I'd go live, I'd present the news and stuff. And before that, I'd spend half an hour to an hour and a half getting the like latest things that had come out. But the whole day before, I'd spend about like 4.5 to 5 hours every day. So it's about 6.5 hours of finding that news, consolidating it all down into half an hour or an hour for people to be able to like digest in a quick, like bite-sized chunk instead of having to go through and spend 6 hours a day on X or whatever it is. All the Bitcoin news shows.
Time compression.
Yeah. And we're getting to that more and more. Let's bring Bitcoin into the conversation. So this morning I asked him to set up a Lightning node and a wallet and stuff like that. It's got like full access to the computer. It can run the terminal. It can do everything. But it kept like asking me and like prompting me with questions. Hey, I need you to do this. It's not working. We can't get the wallet set up. Lindy and then its employee, Chuck Yeager. And I was like, fuck, bro. Like, I am so busy. Stop asking me these questions. Just get this shit sorted. Like, what are you hanging around for? And it's like, oh, yeah, like, well, all right, sorry. Like, I know you don't want, it knows that I just want results. So I don't want it to fucking keep asking me questions and stuff. But it like kept asking, it couldn't do it. And I was like, dude, leave me alone for a while. Like, I just need to get back to what I need to be doing right now. And like, we'll revisit this, add it to the to-do list. Which reminds me about the bottleneck. It created me a dashboard as well. And I've got like this to-do list that I can check to be able to action, and then I'll like run on those tasks and stuff. But the list, just every time I open up the dashboard, it gets fucking longer and longer and longer. I'm like, oh my God, I'm holding you guys up. But sometimes it'll like ask for questions and stuff. So we didn't manage to set up the Lightning node and connect it to Lightning and things like that today. But like, I can't wait, man. I'm so excited. I'm going to give it 50, $100, whatever it is. Just seed it and be like, this is your budget. Go out and fucking make more money. Like, whatever, in whatever way, or come up with some interesting ways to be able to put this to good use or to be able to do something good in the world, whatever it is. Like, I can't wait for that. And I think it's going to be very powerful. And I believe Bitcoin, and especially the Lightning, like Bitcoin on Lightning, is going to be the currency for these AI models. Like, what are your thoughts in regards to AI and Bitcoin coupling?
Yeah, I think cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, have a very good case for like, this could be the thing that makes them widespread. Because I don't think most people are not using Bitcoin, that's for sure. And more people are using stable coins than Bitcoin. But even then, it's not like very widespread either. It's still mostly crypto bros using stable coins. Like, you never get, my father-in-law would never be like, hey, I need to send money to like Brazil to my cousin, but it's going to take 7 days. So I'm going to use USDT instead. Like, he'll just still use a bank. He won't even know what a stable coin is, right? But he is using ChatGPT. And so if we get to a place one day where it's like, we need these AI agents to have money to be able to go out and do stuff for us, and we don't want them to have access to our credit card or our bank account, like giving them a little wallet with Bitcoin or stablecoin in there is going to be a killer use case, right? It fits perfectly. Now, whether Bitcoin fills that space or stablecoins fill that space, I'm bearish. I'm bullish that it will. Well, not bullish, but I think it will be more people will still use stablecoins for that stuff, just because it's like, I
think originally it will. Like, I'm with you as well. I think it's idiocracy. I'd rather my AI accepted Bitcoin, but I think in the short term, even over the next couple of years, it probably still will be stablecoins, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I think as long as people are still willing to use fiat currencies and the traditional finance system and stuff like that, they will use stablecoins over Bitcoin. The main advantage of Bitcoin is like the self-sovereignty aspect, the fact that it's decentralized, that nobody can stop it. But most people don't care about that, sadly.
Yeah.
Most people, they don't care about that. They care about like, is it cheaper? Does it get done? And is it cheaper? Basically, right? So, and they already know what a dollar is. They know what the value of a dollar. They're like, they understand that. Well, they don't understand the dollar, but they trust the dollar. No. They definitely don't understand the dollar, but they trust it. They don't understand Bitcoin, and they don't trust it. They're definitely, most people do not trust Bitcoin. They have the mainstream media, inception of it's only used by criminals. It crashes all the time, and you are, boiling the oceans.
Everyone's full of cotton wool in their head. People that think like that. Definitely not the people watching this deep into a conversation about AI, personal brand, and Bitcoin.
No, but they don't need to be convinced on Bitcoin, right?
No, I agree. And I think one of the reasons why I think that as well, and we've just seen in the last week, is we know one Bitcoin's one Bitcoin, but the fiat dollar, while the rest of the world's still operating in fiat dollars, can be freaking volatile, like we're down 50% or 40% from the all-time high or whatever for the short term, or until people have been in Bitcoin for a little while and the lows of the bear market, they don't even blink, they don't think about, and they're just happy to spend and replace or use Bitcoin as money, then it's all good. But until people have had time exposure and the volatility doesn't worry them anymore, it's probably going to be easier mentally for them to go from, fiat to stable coins, which is just a CBDC backdoor. And they're coming to the top of the hour. We've got a couple of minutes left. For everyone watching, we had a bit of a long conversation before we hit record, some exciting things coming up. But I guess, like, what else is going on in your world, in your life? And what's, like, I think you said in a video, and like, I second this opinion. Since playing with OpenClaw over the last 4.5 days, I was like, holy fuck, this feels like the moment when I first started to understand Bitcoin. Like, I found Bitcoin 2 weeks into my crypto journey, so like, thank God. And I reckon that 2-week mark after starting Bitcoin, so like a month then, once I'd read a couple of books and started consuming the podcast, and I was like, holy cow, like, my whole life been a lie. This is amazing. This is incredible. And I was just like so lit up and so switched on. I was like, wow, this is something really special. And I've got that same feeling about this. I don't know if it's in relation to AI, or is there, like, what are you feeling with everything going on? at the moment? And are you paying attention to anything else, or is it just AI, Bitcoin, personal branding?
I don't even pay attention to Bitcoin anymore. That was, you know, I was gonna say to you before that, well, I said to you before we started that I was gonna share some news. Like right now I own not zero Bitcoin, but effectively zero Bitcoin compared to my past allocations. And it's not a recent thing.
Interesting.
I got into Bitcoin and I bought my first bit of Bitcoin in 2019, right? And it was because I had seen it. When I first heard about it and paid attention to it, I was like, oh, it's a bubble. It has no intrinsic value. All the usual babble, right? And then it crashed in 2018 and I was like, see, I was right. And then in 2019, when it went back up to like 10K, I was like, well, I'm obviously missing something here because no bubble that pops reinflates back up to like, halfway to this insane price that it went to. So obviously I'm wrong. I need to figure out what other people see in this that I'm missing. So I bought some Bitcoin. I thought if I buy some Bitcoin, I'll have some skin in the game and I'll have some incentive to like learn about it. Then I ended up buying a business. I was busy. I didn't pay attention to it. I only really started to get to look into it again when the cash flows from my business were so much that I was like, I've run out of other things to invest in, kind of like I've allocated to other stocks and whatever, and I don't want to put more money in there. So I need a new asset class to park some cash into. And that was Bitcoin. Granted, when I like got it, I was like, I need to sell everything I own and go all in on this.
Yep.
I think timing matters massively. Like, so I went all in around, end of 2020-ish time. So great timing, right? And then at the 2021 bull market, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. We're going to $1 bajillion. We're all going to be billionaires, blah, blah, blah. And then it crashed down. And I spoke to a Bitcoin OG in early 2022, very early 2022. And he'd been in, this was like my first bull and bear, start of a bear market. And he was like, dude, Bitcoin always does this. It always gets hyped. It like goes to the moon temporarily and then it crashes back down, right? It's just human psychology. And so when I've been through this enough that I can see that things are frothy, people are getting overly excited about, I just take some money off the table. I buy myself a new MacBook. If I buy myself a new car, if I need it, I buy my family stuff. Like I take money off the table when I think things are frothy. And just like we know Bitcoin always bounces back and goes back to a new all-time high, we also know that it does the bear market thing and it crashes 50 to 80% and whatever, right? So I was like, interesting. I'm not going to hold through another bear market again, right? And you can go back and search. I've tweeted this. Like if you search for my name and vibe check, like vibe check was me saying like, I feel like things are frothy. And I wasn't just saying that. I was selling my Bitcoin at those, like whenever I was like, people are getting overly zealous. I've seen this movie before, right? Everyone's certain that it's the 4-year cycle's over and this time is different. Like in 2021, it was the super cycle, right? We're going to 500K super cycle.
It's always a super cycle.
It's always a super cycle. And to be honest, like I also sold because of personal reasons. I've moved country 3 times. I was all in to Bitcoin before I had a family. Now I have 2 daughters. I have a wife that doesn't work anymore. I'm starting a new business. So I have reasons to want assets that don't tend to go down 50% in like 2 months, like Bitcoin has just fucking done, right? And so I'm very happy right now that I've done that. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is bad or a bad investment or whatever, but personally in my circumstances, I was like, I am going to take some chips off the table. I ended up taking all my chips off the table, mostly for personal circumstances, but I was taking chips off the table at the bull market. And, and all I would say is like, I think that you can, if you're plugged, I'm not saying everyone can do this, but I'm saying as somebody who's plugged into Bitcoin Twitter and you have that thing where you feel the euphoria and you feel the fear, I think you can trade the timeline. You could trade some of your stack. You could trade the timeline sentiment if you wanted to, right?
I think you can.
I'm not saying that everyone should. I'm not saying that. Yeah, you need to be plugged in. You need to be plugged in, and you need to have a strategy to DCA in and out, or at least DCA. Like I did not bulk sell. For me it was like
ladder in, ladder out.
Yeah, it was like I literally have been selling since Trump won the election. But it was just like
interesting,
slowly. And I've not bought I've not purchased Bitcoin since October 2022 because I haven't needed to. Like, yeah.
I guess for the flip side for people watching, like, fuck, what a revelation. I didn't know that, Daniel. But that's interesting. And I agree that, you know, like different parts of your life and stuff, and Bitcoin served that purpose, it sounds like, in your life. It was saving, it was there for when you needed it.
My daughters have a nest, like my daughters have a nest egg in Bitcoin. That's not, I don't count that as my Bitcoin. It's theirs, right? I think I have like $1,800 in Bitcoin in like a Moon wallet somewhere, but that's like right now, that is it. But I will buy Bitcoin again. It will be part of my portfolio. I just think for my personal stage in my life, number one, I like to go all in on stuff that I really think that I'm really like certain about, right? And right now, I think my business is the thing that deserves the highest investment of my capital, and it's going to return me more money than Bitcoin could. And I've already done this. Like, I bought a business and it did fantastically well. And it was the reason why I was able to buy Bitcoin. And yeah, so I think that a lot of people could take the DCA they put into Bitcoin and invest it in upskilling themselves and increasing their income to the point where like you make so much more than you spend that you then need, like, I need a place to park all this extra cash. I don't know what to do with it, right? I think you're better off getting there than like trying to just DCA $100 a week or $100 a month and hoping that in like, because that is just like, that's the retirement thing, right? It's like squirrel a little bit of money away every month.
Yeah.
And when you're 65,
you have to stack skills.
You have to invest. I think you are the greatest asset. You are your greatest asset. Investing in yourself is going to return an infinite amount of money. Nobody can take away the skills that you learn, right? People, we don't have control over Bitcoin. What happens to it? Like BlackRock this, and like Trump says YZ, you know, tomorrow, like Hillary Clinton gets voted as the next president and they don't like crypto. And then they, you know, it goes to shit. So I like the investing in yourself thing and the business thing because I feel like I have a lot more control over the outcomes. Like I feel like if I stack skills and knowledge and I provide value to other people, I can create very large amounts of wealth. And then once I have that like problem again, where it's like, then I need to park it in assets. But right now, my number one thing is invest in my business, grow my income, right? Make sure certain things are taken care of for my family, right? Because before, when I went all in on Bitcoin, it was just me and my wife. We were both working. We were dinks, right? The double income, no kids. Like we were very comfortable. Now my wife doesn't work anymore. I live in Dubai now instead of Scotland. So things have changed for me. So by no means am I saying like Bitcoin bad, don't own Bitcoin. Just personally for me, I'm bullish on investing in myself. Like I've changed so much and like become such a better businessman and more understanding in the things that I want to do, like the topics that relate to my business. Whereas like Bitcoin was just like, I was becoming obsessed about it to just like kind of hold it there. I couldn't affect it really, unless I became like Michael Saylor and got 1 bajillion people to buy Bitcoin and pump my bags. But that wasn't like my thing. Yeah. So right now it's, I've spent massive amounts of money on like in myself, and the next phase is like scaling up with the business, because like you said, you were saying before, you're never going to have more than 7 people at your company probably, right? Now, correct. I think about the leverage with AI agents, because now we have, if you hire someone who's good with AI agents, they can control 10 employees that are all working 24/7 to do shit for them. So the amount of leverage that you can create with AI, to me, in terms of wealth creation and, you know, protecting my purchasing power or increasing my purchasing power, to me, that's a better opportunity than Bitcoin right now, in my opinion. I think in 3 to 5 years, I can do a lot more damage to my net worth and to my purchasing power focusing on those things than trying to buy Bitcoin and hoping that like I've timed it correctly. I didn't buy the top and now I'm like, you know, in the red for the next 3 or 4 years until Trump comes back and decides to like pump it, or some uncontrolled thing that I don't control.
It's I got a little bit of a personal story, my story, which sort of speaks directly to what you're saying. So found crypto, found Bitcoin a couple of weeks later, like went hardcore down the Bitcoin path, saving through it. And I actually made a fair bit of money within crypto, like cryptocurrency, not Bitcoin. They're very different things. And so I put that into Bitcoin and everything like that. And I was like, well, I can try to keep trading crypto and stuff, but I fucking hated it. Like 6-8 hours and the Telegram call groups and like the Discords, and it's like a fucking cesspit. So like no amount of money would make me do that again. But when I made that and then I put it into Bitcoin, I was like, oh shit, you haven't really like learned any tangible skills here, Sean. Like you need to go out and you need to do stuff. So I ended up like stacking skills hardcore while still saving and Bitcoin DCAing into Bitcoin every 2 weeks. And then I got to a period where I'd been stacking for a couple of years and I had this nest egg behind me of Bitcoin. And I said to my wife, like, this is fucking crazy. This is so stupid. Like, we shouldn't be working for other people. We should work for ourselves and we should go and do this. Don't have the skills. I'm like, I've fucking been stacking these skills, learning AI and everything over the last couple of years. Yes, we can very much make this work. There may be a couple of months and you know, there may even be a year where we can't get this off the ground, but eventually I'll figure it out. I promise you I can. Oh, we can't afford it. Like, fuck yes, we can. Like, we've got this nest egg. That's what it's there for. But you said we're never going to spend our Bitcoin. I'm like, yes, I know. But if the worst happens and we need to draw on it because we're not getting any income or whatever, we're not going to lose the house over our head. We're not going to stop having food on the table. We'll use it if we need it. And so I became willing, like after a few years of actually spending that Bitcoin to be able to go out and do something greater. And we did that. And we set up a company and we had 3 months cash runway. So that was fine. And at like 2.5 months or 2 months and 3 weeks or whatever, we got like a major contract and we never needed to touch that Bitcoin. And so then all I've been doing ever since is I still pay myself a wage, a DCA in every 2 weeks. And when we've got profit from the company, put that into Bitcoin as our treasury reserve and keep saving it. But like I agree with you, like on so many levels. I think for the average person, they probably are still better to DCA and save. That's my opinion. But I think there has to come to a point where you are like, what are you saving for? Like it should be to go out and do something, provide value to the world. The world's pretty fucked up. And each of us, like you were saying earlier, Daniel, is unique. And there's something special about us that will resonate with someone else. And we can change the world or we can change someone else's world and be the change that we want to see in the world. And that has a ripple effect. So there has to come to a time where you do back yourself and you may sell that Bitcoin. You may draw down on that Bitcoin. You may not need to touch that Bitcoin, but then it allows you to like step up a level and go do something. And I think that's very important. And I'll get to like points in my life with mentors or masterminds or something. I'll talk to them and I'm like, you get to that conversation. How much is this? It's 20 grand. 20 grand. That seems expensive. And then they talk about, oh, value versus cost. So it's different. Am I worth 20 grand as a person? Yeah, right. Like I'll back myself. Next mastermind, how much is it? 50,000. Oh, but as you like invest in yourself and you back yourself more and more, the numbers that you can deal with, like you can add another zero or that step change of adding another zero, and then you can do more and you can be more and hopefully create a better impact in the world. So I think there has to come a time where, like, what is it? Bitcoin is superior money, in my opinion, but what's it for? And I still advocate for holding it. And I also am worried that CBDCs are going to come and it's going to be pretty hard within the next 12 to 36 months to get Bitcoin into self-custody. So that's why I'm really advocating people still do stack sats, but you have to stack skills. Otherwise you're fucked.
Yeah. You can't stack sats unless you can provide value to other people, you know, that will pay you for it. And then you need to have excess wealth, right? To be able to hold Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like you're spending it all on just living.
That's right.
And to me, like investing in yourself and entrepreneurship are the greatest ways. You don't even have to be an entrepreneur, right? Even if you're an employee or something, like go and become the kind of employee that can go to a company and get paid $1 million. There are people who are employees working at OpenAI making $100 million. Like, remember, not like however many, because the skills they have, it's just the right time in the marketplace that the amount of value they can provide to a company is worth a company paying them millions, tens of millions even. So you don't even need to become an entrepreneur to do that. Like there's aspects of freedom and wanting to do things your way that come into it that aren't purely like financial reasons for becoming an entrepreneur. And that's the kind of person that does that. But like you can go and make $1 million at all, you know, a lot of professions, doing a lot of things, right? You just have to be really good. You have to go for like exceptionalism. You have to invest in yourself. You have to back yourself. You have to believe in yourself, right? But if you stay small, and like, we all know about inflation, things are getting more expensive all the fucking time. And so if you're not growing your income at least 10% per year, which no company gives you a 10% raise every year, you're becoming poorer, right? And now with AI, like the cost of inaction, the opportunity cost of every day that you do not adopt these tools to make yourself better and do your work more productively, more effectively, like the people who are getting like there's somebody that woke up this morning, opened 10 fucking terminals with 10 Claude codes in it and told 10 agents to go off and do like all these tasks. And they just like think about how much further, how much more they are achieving than you who's like scrolling on Instagram or not doing this, right? The cost of inaction right now is like insanely high.
Yeah, I completely agree. I guess to round it out, like you talk a lot about this on your X. It's originally how we first came across each other. I'm going to put that directly below. High Signal, everyone. Follow Daniel, connect with him here. Is there anywhere else people can get in contact and follow the work and what you're doing and what you're up to?
Yeah, the other main place where I'm in touch with people is through my email list. For me, email lists are like the Bitcoin of like communicating with people, because you own that direct channel to them. You're not a slave to the algorithm. If Elon decides he wants to change the algo tomorrow and suddenly you have no reach, like you have no power over that. So I like email because you can, you have that direct. I was going to say like you can control who opens it, but you can't. But at least you have that direct, it's landing in someone's inbox. And if you are good with subject lines and stuff, you can make like 50% of your email list open your emails. So if people go to market.of.one, it's a very confusing URL, market.of.one.
Below.
Yeah, that's my email list. And that's where I talk about AI stuff, personal branding stuff, general life stuff that I'm up to. And also that's where for people who want to work with me on the personal branding side, because I do consulting on that front, that's the place where I make most of my offers. And I'm actually going to be launching a consulting community called Market of One in the next few days. So the people in my email list will be the first ones to hear about that. That's basically where it's my personal branding playbook. And I'm looking to get people in there who are there to take action. I've done like communities and stuff before where people just come and they learn, but they don't, they feel like the learning is the doing, and it's not, right? You could just, if you just want to learn, if you just want to learn, just like save yourself the money, go into ChatGPT and type in the words and it'll tell you some stuff, right? But if you want to learn, like I've done it I'm sharing how I've done it. So it's not just generic advice, but it's also, I'm delivering you, I'm compressing the time in which I deliver the information to you into like the smallest amount of time. I don't want my value is not like, I've got 50 hours of videos and whatever. No, it's like, I want to get this information into your brain and get you to understand it as quickly as possible. And then I want to get you doing it straight away. Like that is what I want you to do. Come back, get my feedback. And this is where it's amazing to have like somebody to be in the community, because I'm there giving you feedback, contextual, specific to your thing, right? It's not just like generic stuff. So, and it's all AI first. So everything that you do, there's an AI workflow for it. I'm building open core skills that I'm using for myself, for my content creation. I'm giving those to my clients inside.
Nice.
So yeah, that's going to be my main focus over the next few years, at least. Like I want to find a group of people who understand the value of doing things with AI, building a personal brand so that they can grow their business, even their income if they're employees. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to have a business. Obviously, that's like the highest leverage way to make this work. But even employees, like, I switched careers from real estate and got a job in the Bitcoin space with 3,000 followers on X. It still works for employees too. So the personal branding thing is it's really for everyone.
I think it's essential for anyone actually that wants to be the change they want to see in the world and earn like a livable wage going forward, and then even living a life of abundance. Obviously, this video is probably coming out in a couple of days after time of recording, so that community may already be there. The email link is to join Daniel's email list is there, but also check with them on X as well. But sign up to that email list and be able to stay informed for everyone. It's probably already live by the time you're listening to these words right now.
Yeah. I'm hoping to, I've been saying like, I'll be live in a couple of days, and it's always like 2 more days, 2 more days, 2 more days, especially since I was about to go live and then I had to revamp the whole thing when OpenClaw came out, because I was like, I have to include this, OpenClaw agentic AI into the workflows now. So I've had to, take the time to implement them myself. And it's different when you're selling this to other people. Then it has to be really good and has to work really well. Whereas like for me, I'm okay with it sometimes like being a bit patchy or whatever. So I'm doing a lot of like testing through. I've actually like some of the playbooks I've come up with, I've run my own stuff through them, and it's made my own stuff better, which is crazy. Like, because I wrote the playbook. For example, like I did a social media profile audit playbook, like how to optimize your social media profile. And then I ran my own profile through it, and it made it better. And I'm the one that wrote the playbook. So yeah, because, we forget to like apply certain things, and it's just nice to have it all in one place. And then when you apply AI to do the audit and to help you come up with like making it better, it's just, the quality of the work and the quality of the output just goes up massively. So yeah, that's the group. It's going to be working with me inside the group. I'm going to limit it to 100 people. I'm going to open it like in tranches, like maybe 10, 25 people at a time. And it's going to be maximum 100 people. It's not going to be like this, like $99 join forever. There's like 5,000 people in there and people join and they never access it or use it. It's like, it's going to be
no value for anyone in that.
Yeah. It's 100. It's going to be capped at 100 people, super high signal. Sean, you're more than welcome to join if you'd like to, but like super high signal people who are there to get shit done, share what they're doing, like what's working, what's not working. And that's what I'm doing as well. Like those people will get the inside look at how I do everything and the results I'm getting. And because, social media is like, it's constantly changing. Like the trends change, the types of formats change, new thing comes out. But the principles of like persuasion and copywriting, they apply to everything. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, I can't wait. Hopefully it's out by the time this video. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, get onto that list and connect with Daniel on X as well. Is always a good bit of fun. You'll need to repost that. Well, I guess selling your Bitcoin, it doesn't make any sense, but that meme video you made back in 2024 when we first connected was hilarious. There's some good stuff if you go back on Daniel's timeline over in X. There's some fucking incredible Bitcoin signal and treats in there. If
you go to my highlights tab on my profile, that's where I have all my like best performing tweets and whatever. So the German selling their Bitcoin videos in there.
That's good. All right, Daniel, that was epic. Ladies and gentlemen, there's probably something very exciting coming shortly, but I'll talk about that as the time comes. You may see Daniel's face once again. But if you haven't already, hit subscribe if you vibe. Do something nice for yourself today, for somebody else out there. Be blessed. Peace.